and welcome to the October First Fridays Bookstream. It is the first Friday of October, and we are celebrating all things spooktacular, because the entire month of October is Halloween, obviously. So we've got a whole bunch of creepy books with ghosts and witches and monsters and all sorts of other fun stuff for you to add to your October reading list. We're going to start with Through the Woods, which is a graphic novel. It is a collection of horror fairy tales. So they are all illustrated, I think, beautifully, but also very creepily. They are not fairy tales that are known, they're like new ones, and they follow, I think, 5 different situations. They're all very creepy. It's very fun and also scary. So if you like horror and graphic novels, this is a great one to go with. It is a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm going to be talking about The Green Rose Girls by Laura Paul.
Paul?
I think that's how you say your name. P-O-H-L. So immerse yourself in this suspenseful, chilling, and page-turning tale. Green Rose Academy is an elite boarding school in Switzerland. Ariane mysteriously dies, and the police rules her death as a suicide. Her 3 friends, Ella, Yuki, and Rory, are still determined to find out what really happened and try to retrace Ariane's footsteps. Nani is their new roommate, and she decides to join the 3 friends in their quest to solve the mystery. So Nani did not know Ariane's, but she still joins them and she wants to help them out. The book is narrated by each character's point of view. So if you open the book, you would see the names of the different characters. Yuki, Rory, and it keeps going like that. And is it possible that her death is just a series of other misters' death at the school? Apparently the murders are all connected to fairy tale curses, and their own fates are tied to the stories. So this part makes it even more intriguing if you're a fan of fairy tales. And would they be able to save themselves? The sequel, there is a sequel that's coming out this November 1st, right after Halloween, The Wicked Remain.
Ooh.
So if you enjoy this one, be on the lookout for the sequel.
Cool. So speaking of elite places where people go, this is The Honeys. It's by Ryan Lasala, and it is about a teen named Mars. His sister Carolyn comes home from an elite summer camp called Aspen Conservancy Summer Academy, and something is wrong with her. Like, she's not the same sister he remembers. She is in fact trying to kill him. So she tries to kill him and then accidentally, in the course of this, ends up killing herself. This is not a spoiler because it's the very first scene of the book. It's a really attention-getting way to start a book. So Mars is dealing with his sister's death. They are twins, by the way. I should have mentioned that sooner. And losing a twin, I'm not a twin, but I'm sure it would be very difficult. So he decides that he is going to go to the summer camp and figure out what happened to Carolyn while she was there, because she was just so weird and it was not like her at all. And it seemed like ever since she joined the most elite cabin, which is Cabin H, Home of the Honeys, it's the title of the book, that's when things started going really weird with her. So Mars is like, okay, I'm going to go to the summer camp, I'm going to infiltrate the cabin, I'm going to see the honeys, I'm going to figure out what happened to my sister. And so he goes, and then it starts getting really weird. The honeys are the beekeepers. There's a really great scene later in the book where that matters a whole bunch. The scene was kind of gross. It was awesome. I'm not going to talk about any specifics because that would definitely be a spoiler, unlike Carolyn's death, which is the very beginning of the book. But basically, the book is all focused around how everything in the Aspen Conservancy Summer Academy is basically beautiful and perfect, and everything must be just so. And then Mars comes along and is like, I don't like this. This is weird. It is the unnerving, unsettling quality of perfection, kind of. So
it looks perfect on the outside.
Yes, but something rotten is lurking underneath. And there's a bit of a conspiracy going on. Like, there is a lot going on in this book. It was perhaps the craziest thing I have read in recent memory. Like, I finished it and I was just flabbergasted. It did not go where I expected it to go at all. So if you like unexpected kind of what did I even just read types of books, this is definitely the book for you. If you like books with intriguing mysteries, this is a great one. Or good sibling relationships, this is also good for that. And also the cover is just gorgeous. Like, it's so cool. Yeah, highly recommend.
Flowers and bees.
Just a totally bonkers read.
Talking about sisters, so this one is called The House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. Iris Hollow is the main character, and she's always been strange. Something happened to her and her two sisters when they were children, and left the same scar at the base of their throats. And one day, one of the sisters, Gray, goes missing, and life gets very weird for two sisters. One of the instances is there's a corpse falling out of the ceiling. So just very weird occurrences on a daily basis. So that makes life very interesting and scary at the same time. So the two sisters are Iris and Vivi. And as the days go by, Iris realizes that the only way to save her sister Gray, is to uncover their past and what happened to them as children. So on her journey to the truth, some dark secrets revealed, and it looks like the Honeys, there's a lot of dark secrets and mystery going on, so here it's similar in that way.
Also has a gorgeous cover.
Yes.
Super cool.
There you go.
Okay. So this is Coven. It is by Jennifer Dugan. It's a graphic novel. It is about a girl named Emzy who lives in California, and she loves surfing, she loves her girlfriend, she just wants to hang out and be chill like a, stereotypical California girl. But she's also a witch, and her family moved away from their coven when she was just a baby because they didn't want to be... Like, they wanted a normal life. They didn't want the magical life. So MZ has magical powers, but she's never really done anything with them. She just, has them. She can control fire. But then some members of her parents' coven are murdered horribly, and it's under mysterious circumstances. It's definitely witchcraft. So MZ's family has to go back to New England to try to protect the rest of the coven and also protect themselves and solve the mystery of what happened to these people who were murdered. So the art is really nice, like it's crisp and clean. The characters' faces are very expressive. It's one of those books that is just a delight to look at. And the story is really interesting. MZ and her newfound friends in the Coven in New York decide to take matters into their own hands because the adults aren't getting anything done. So MZ really quickly has to learn how to control her powers and deal with the social ramifications in high school, and like there's a lot going on that she has to deal with. But they want to solve the murders, and they're gonna solve the murders, except are they going to be lost to their dark race before they can? Yeah, it was really good.
I love the cover. Kind of looks like some of the covers of like these adventure strategy computer games.
Yeah.
Alright, there is another book about witches. This one is about witches who are actually people in a sorority that are disguised as witches. So I mean, you think they're normal, just everyday, ordinary
Sorority girls,
but they're
actually
witches.
Cool.
So The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Daniel Page. Here is a perfectly witchy and fast-paced book. Vivi studies in Westerly College. There she joins a campus sorority called Raven. Behind the usual sorority activities, the members of the group are secretly witches, as I mentioned before. They're Vivi, which it's funny, actually, the other book also has
I was just
Vivi
gonna
in
say,
there.
I think
So it's a popular name, I guess, for that genre, maybe. So their Vivi is paired with the perfect and polished Scarlet Winter, who is determined to become the sorority's next president. There they find themselves in a world of blood oaths and betrayals. So yes, there is a lot behind that book, a lot of secrets to discover and reveal. And if you look closely, I don't know if you can see it through here, there is a large raven, and then there is a bunch of smaller ravens around.
Yeah, that's another awesome cover. Like,
Alright. And then there is another book about witches, because of course it's Halloween and we're going to talk about witches some more. The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. So for centuries, witches have maintained the climate. So as the Earth climate becomes more unexpected, which is actually also related to reality in some way with climate change, as the Earth climate becomes more unexpected, there are more storms, and the witches are losing control of the climate. There is only one witch that can save the Earth from destruction. Her name is Clara, and she's the one on the cover. She's an ever witch, so that's another type of witch, and she has a magic that is tied to every season. And so she has kind of like a superpower in a way, and that's why she's the one who's responsible to save planet Earth. But unfortunately, the price of magic is too high, losing the ones she loves. So either the earth or the people that she loves. So it's a magical and heartbreaking story at the same time. Immerse yourself in this thoughtful tale of the responsibilities we have to our planet and to one another.
Covers are really on point this time. Okay, so this is The River Has Teeth by Erica Waters, and it is about a girl named Natasha and a girl named Della. And Natasha's sister has gone missing. So her sister Rochelle is not the type to just disappear. Her car was found abandoned by a local nature preserve. Della happens to live by the nature preserve, so she is kind of on alert. She's also a witch, and the nature preserve is where she gets all her magic. So Natasha hears about this witch family that lives on the nature reserve, and she's like, okay, well, I'm going to go to them and they're going to help me find my sister, because she's like determined to find her sister. So she goes to Della, and that is how they meet and become intertwined, and Della's entire family is magic, except her mom. A spell went wrong when she was on the nature preserve and turned her into a monster. So they being Della's family, suspects that maybe Della's mom has something to do with the disappearance of Natasha's sister. This isn't the only girl to have gone missing recently. It's like a trend. So Della has to figure out how to balance protecting her mom with helping Natasha find the answers to her sister's disappearance, and it's one of those books that just grabs you and pulls you in and does not let go throughout the entire thing. It's another one where things don't really go the way I expected. It was a good blend of the kind of like true crime inspired books with witchcraft. And then there's a queer love story in there that was really nice and sweet, which was a good contrast to the
craziness going on.
Yep, exactly. So it is just a great book to read if you are interested in books about like serial disappearances and true crime, but also magic. I would say that it's kind of like Sadie, except with witches. Really cool, really good.
It also keeps you thinking about it
Mm-hmm.
after you read it?
Yes, definitely. Okay. Keeping in line with the sort of true crime-esque books, this one is called There's Someone Inside Your House. It is by Stephanie Perkins. Fun fact, Stephanie Perkins was an author who was, like, she only did rom-coms, and then she was like, I love horror, I'm gonna write a horror book. So this is her first horror book. And it is about a girl whose name I can't remember, Makani. Makani, who has come to live with her grandmother in central Nebraska. She originally lived in Hawaii, but something bad happened there, so she's kind of running from her past and moved to Nebraska, and she started to make friends. She is settling in, things are going okay, everything's going to be fine, except not really, because there is actually a serial killer on the loose. So if you are at all interested in slashers, this is the perfect book. It is very gory and don't get attached to any characters because like everybody dies. It was a lot of fun if you like movies like Scream or Nightmare on Elm Street, like any of the classic slasher movies. This is definitely the book for you. It is... I think the actual mystery gets solved really quickly, so it's... If that's what you're looking for, then maybe don't read this one. But if you like absolutely brutal books that are just like violence, fun, this is a good choice.
And for a first book in that genre for the author, do you think she did a good job with that?
Yeah, it was enjoyable.
For what it was meant for.
Yeah. Okay, so this is also kind of a slasher, but kind of not. It's another one where don't get attached to any characters because pretty much they're all gonna die. So, this is called The Weight of Blood. It is by Tiffany D. Jackson. And Tiffany D. Jackson is well known for her, like, suspense thriller type books that are usually about social issues. There was one that was a big award winner, I think, that was about a girl who was wrongfully imprisoned, perhaps, for murder. Anyway, she does a lot of twists and turns and unexpected things, so I was really excited to read this book because it is based on Carrie by Stephen King, which is like one of the first big horror books I read as a teenager, and I was like, this is so good, I love it so much. So I was really excited for this one. And it is about a girl named Madison who goes to school every day, maybe not, because she's not allowed to leave her house if it's going to rain. And the reason for that is because her father straightens her hair every week with a hot iron because his daughter Madison is half black and he doesn't want anybody to know that. So she is passing as white. There was a surprise rainstorm and Maddie gets caught in it, so her hair is no longer straight. It becomes this giant afro. She was already an outcast at school, so everybody makes fun of her for that. There is a video that is taken of kids throwing things in her hair. And basically that is where this starts, with horrible racist bullying. So if you are familiar with the story of Carrie, it's also about prom. This follows Carrie basically every beat for beat. But it does it in a great way. It incorporates a true crime podcast. There are basically no spoilers to be had, like, everybody dies and Maddie did it. After the racist bullying, she finds out that she has special powers. So she can make things go through the air, she can control electricity, she can control fire, she can do all sorts of stuff. And one of the popular girls who was complicit in the bullying, who is dating the most popular boy in school, who's a football star, she feels sorry for Maddie, so she's like, okay, I'm going to ask my boyfriend to take her to prom, which is, exactly what happened in Carrie, except for in Springville, which is the town where this happens, there are actually two proms. There is the white prom and the black prom. They are segregated. It is bad. That is bad. So basically a firestorm starts around the school with a reckoning for all the racism that's going on. So Wendy is the popular girl. She's like, let's have a combined prom for the first time ever. And people don't like that. Things get bad. But this was a really, really great exploration of like the social issues and like racism and microaggressions and what it might be like to be in the South and an environment that makes you hate yourself. Again, most everybody dies. I feel like I did a terrible job of describing this book. Because basically it's Carrie, except
Well, it doesn't
also about
spoil
racism.
it because
Yeah.
it's already.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good one. Okay, so we are keeping with the theme of social issues horror. This is The Getaway by Lamar Giles. It has a blurb on the back from Tiffany D. Jackson, so you know they like each other. That's a good sign. The Getaway is about a boy named Jay. Jay works at a resort, and the resort's kind of like Disneyland. It's a place where super rich people go to get away from the horrors of everyday life, and Jay works there. He's enjoying his job because, you know, it's just a normal job, and then the people start showing up and not leaving. And something weird is going on outside in the world, and it becomes very clear very quickly that all of the rich folks have decided to hole up in here in the resort because it's safe there, and they think they will be safe there, and they think that the people who work there are going to become their servants. Jay is not so into that, and he and his friends who also work there kind of band together to figure out what's going on, why it's happening, like why they are kind of acting like it's the end of the world. It's very much in line with Get Out, if you've seen that, and it is just a very exciting book where, like, you don't know who to trust, you don't know what's going on. Unexpected things. Really good.
On the cover, it's very creepy.
Mm-hmm. Get Out and The Purge, I think, is what I would say it's like. So.
With the X's for eyes.
Mm-hmm. Next we are doing Not Even Bones by Rebecca Schaefer. This is about a girl named Nita. And Nita does not murder supernatural beings and sell their body parts on the black market. But her mom does. And Nita dissects them for her.
Oh.
So,
It's like all business.
Yeah. So one day her mom brings home a live specimen, like, you know, not dead, and is like, okay, so we're going to have to kill this thing, and then you can dissect it, and then we're going to sell the body parts. And Nita is like, no, because the supernatural being in this case just looks like a scared teenage boy. And Nita is like, I'm not cool with this. It's different when they're already dead, but I will not be a part of murdering somebody so I can dissect them. So she decides to save him. And that turns out to have been a bad idea because Nita isn't exactly human herself. So her mom is like, okay, cool, I'm going to punish you for saving this supernatural being by selling you instead. So Nita wakes up in a cage, and if she wants to escape, she's going to have to use all of her monstrous powers, and oh boy, this one gets really gory. So if you like brutal monster stories, this is definitely the book for you. If you like gray morality, nobody is a good person in this book, but everybody is very intriguing. They're all interesting characters that you want to learn more about them. It's gripping and just like, I think I read it in one sitting. Like I didn't want to put it down. It was very fun. And I believe it is the start of a trilogy. I don't know, I didn't have time to read the other ones, but it was just really exciting. And so, yeah, exciting monster books. More exciting monster books. So this is a new one. It was just published. It's called Our Shadows Have Claws. And it is a short story anthology of monster stories based on Latinx and Hispanic culture and mythology and stuff. So each story has a different monster. Some of them are creepy, others are just kind of fun and bizarre. But the whole thing is really, really interesting. It's a lot of fun. The monsters are all super fascinating. It's a great one if you like learning about monsters, because like that's what it is, and all sorts of monsters.
Different types of monsters.
Yep. All sorts of fun.
And then the good thing is that you can read like a few stories and put it down.
Yeah, it's a good one if you don't have a lot of time, because you can just read a couple stories and then come back later, and you won't have to worry about forgetting. So it's got shapeshifters, zombies, witches, boogeymen, like all sorts of different stuff. It was really cool, really interesting.
And then transitioning from monster books to Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shira and Shaw, I think that's how you say the author's name. So actually the main character is Sally Skellington. She's the official new pumpkin queen of Halloween Town. So this one is perfect in time for Halloween. And after a courtship with Jack, she adores Jack but does not feel the same of her new role as a queen. All of a sudden she has a lot of new responsibilities. And is that what she traded her captivity for? She accidentally uncovers a hidden doorway to an ancient realm. This discovery set into motion a chain of sinister events that will jeopardize the future of the old town, but also her role as a queen. Will she be true to herself and save the town? So we read on to find out. And this is another great cover.
And this one is The Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So
so it's like a lot of things they do change in the story from the original story, but
yeah,
they took some similarities.
If you love the movie, then definitely read that. Next we've got Cryptid Club by Sarah Anderson. This is a collection of cute little comic strips, all about cryptids, and I think this one was one of my favorites. So she does some of the traditional cryptids like Bigfoot and Mothman, but she also brings in new ones like Siren Head and Slenderman, and has just a lot of really cute little stories. It's a fast read because it's comic strips, but a really, really good one. They're so cute, and it just made me very happy. It was a very joyful little book. Silly and fun and cute.
Even the ghosts on the cover look really cute.
These are Fresno night crawlers. So yeah, it's really cute. If you like cryptids, definitely read this. It's adorable. So now we have zombies, kind of. So this is What We Harvest by Anne Freistat. And it is about a girl named Ren who lives in a town called Hollow's End. Hollow's End is a little farming town, and they are a tourist town because their farm crops have special properties. Like, Ren, her family grows wheat, and the wheat is rainbow colors. Like, they have all sorts of different colors. Her ex-boyfriend, Derek, I think his name was Derek, his family grows melons, and the melons glow in the dark. Like, it's all sorts of different stuff.
It's like magical crops.
Yeah, magical crops. But something bad has been happening. The blight has come. Blight is this silver kind of plague-like thing, and it is rotting the crops. And if you, as a human, are infected by it, then you basically turn into a zombie. Like, you want to infect other people. You don't really recognize your name. Like, you're a zombie. So Ren's farm is the last one. Like, it's the last stand. They haven't been hit by the blight yet, but it's coming. And one day when Ren is working the field, she digs a little bit and silver comes out of the dirt, and she's like, oh no, the blight is here. What she didn't know was that you can be infected by breathing it in. So she is infected. Like, this is not a spoiler. But she needs to figure out how to cure the blight and save her family's farm, and also her parents, because they never came home last night. And so she's like, there is a lot going on that she has to deal with, and all the while she is slowly turning into one of the blighted. So, yeah. This was a really interesting, intriguing book, a unique take on a zombie story. Really creepy. Like, there were really creepy parts. There is a dog. The dog does not die. That is important. Yeah, What We Harvest. Great book. Okay. So now we've got Our Last Echoes, which is about a girl named Sophie. And Sophie goes to a remote island because she was contacted by somebody who said that her mom disappeared there. She always thought that her mom died in a car accident, and that's why she's been in foster care for 15 years, I think. But this person on the internet sent her a picture of her as a child and her mom at this island, so she's like, okay, I gotta go, I gotta figure out what's going on. And there is something spooky happening here where oh gosh, I don't know how to explain it without spoilers. There's something spooky happening here where people's doubles start showing up and they want something.
Like a clone?
Yeah, kind of. And they're called echoes, so it's Our Last Echoes, yeah. And so to figure out what happened to her mom, Sophie is also going to have to figure out what's going on with the echoes, and then there's a monster that comes, and then things just get really creepy, and there's a lot of supernatural happenings. As you go through the story, you not only get the story of what's happening now with Sophia and her new friend Abby, and there's a guy, I don't remember his name, but you also get what happened 15 years ago when Sophie's mom disappeared, and like it is so creepy, and like this is a great Halloween book because it's just like ugh.
So it goes from present to
Present to the past, and like they're intertwined, and the thing is that people have been disappearing on this particular island for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
So like there are mysteries on mysteries, and it was just very exciting and very fun.
It kind of gives you the chills.
Yep. I started it and I was like, this is amazing. I think I might have read it in one sitting. I was just really excited about it. Just so good. So the author also did These Fleeting Shadows, which it turns out that I just really like this author, Kate Alice Marshall. So These Fleeting Shadows is kind of like The Inheritance Games meets Gothic horror. So Helen Vaughn moved away from Harrowstone Hall when she was a little kid. Her mom took her and left, like something happened and they just skedaddled. Now her grandfather has died, and so they have to go back to the house for her grandfather's funeral. And it turns out that he has left Helen everything. The only catch is that she has to stay in the house for a year and then go through a ceremony to be like accepted by the house. It's really weird. But she's like, we could really use the money, and also something about this place kind of calls to me. I want to know what's going on here. And also when she tries to reject this inheritance and leave, it turns out she can't. So she doesn't really get a choice. But luckily she's got cousins to help her out, and there's a witchy lady who lives on the grounds, who's the daughter of the groundskeeper, and they're going to figure out what's going on in this weird house.
So it's pretty much a trap.
Yeah, like yeah. The house is very clearly out to get her. She doesn't know which of her family members she can trust, except for her cousins. She knows she can trust her cousins. But like her great uncle and her regular uncle and her grandmother are all acting really weird about things, and her aunt is kind of like, well, I don't know why she got the inheritance. It should have been all of us, and it's very fun. Like, this was one of those books where it's okay. Our Last Echoes was really, really creepy. This one was just fun. Like, if you like the Inheritance Games, Knives Out, that type of thing, but also like monsters and spooky houses and creepy things happening, definitely read this book. Super good. Okay, so another weird house thing. Summer's Edge by Dana Mel? I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. But this is about a group of friends who come back to one of their summer cabins. So the summer cabin and they're all coming back for the first time after a big fire killed one of their friends there the year before. And even though their friend is dead, it turns out she may not have actually left. So they're in the house, and all of these weird things are happening, and it also turns out that one of them might have started the fire that killed their friend. So pretty clearly a vengeful ghost, and potentially a murderer, and all of them are trapped there. This is a great locked room mystery, so like if you liked One of Us is Lying or We Were Liars, like this is definitely in, well, I guess We Were Liars isn't really a locked room mystery, but it feels very similar to this book still in a different way. You don't know what's going on, you don't know who you can trust, you don't know if you can trust the character who's talking. Just a really, really great book, kind of The Haunting of Hill House meets One of Us is Lying meets We Were Liars. Yeah, that's how I would describe it. Really good, super spooky. I had to stop reading it because I was reading it at night and I was like, oh no, this was too spooky. So, okay. And for the final book, this is another house book. So Jane is moving with her mother following her father's death to her grandmother's house in Maine. They're moving from California to Maine, and they're going to move into her grandmother's old house. Her grandmother has died, and the house has been unoccupied, and there's something wrong with the house. Like, it's just unsettling. It is weird. There are also roses in the back that should not be growing because it's not rose season anymore. The book takes place right before Halloween, and so Jane moves here. Is like, why are there roses? And her mother won't talk about the roses. Her mother won't talk about anything. Her mother starts acting really, really strange. So Jane's going to school. She gets a job, like normal things. But then also, it turns out the house has a reputation for being super haunted, and weird things start happening when she is at her house and she gets creeped out, and turns out that the reputation it has for being haunted might actually be true. This was one of those books where I finished it and I kind of just like, I was so excited. I wanted everybody to read it so I could talk about it. It was just very, very fun, very spooky, very Halloween-y. It's a great gothic horror, like, the descriptions of the house are on point. The spookiness of the ghost stuff is just perfect. Everything about it is amazing. I really loved this book, and everybody should read it. Super spooky, super good.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a big selection here.
Yeah.
For
Hopefully you heard about a book or two or three or more that you would like to read. We have a great program coming up at the end of the month. Cards, Constellations, and oh no, I don't remember the name of the program.
Cards and Constellations.
Okay, so just Cards and Constellations.
At the end of the month.
Yeah, it's at the end of the month. So it is October 28th at 4? 3:30?
I think it's in the afternoon.
It's in the afternoon for sure.
You can find it on the website.
Yep. I'm going to look it up right now because... But basically, the program is perfect for if you're feeling witchy right before Halloween. You can learn about astrology and tarot, and just come hang out with witchy librarians. It'll be a good time. And you can get your cards read and get a horoscope done and just, learn about these sorts of spooky things. And
we should also have a display with books for
Yep.
the program. So be on the lookout for that.
it starts at 4. I was right. Okay. Yeah. So, and it's going to be upstairs in the Hammered Room. So we will see you then. And yeah. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.